In our first beef, it is Trump versus France. He may love their military parades and their loose views on monogamy, but when it comes to French wine, he likes to pair that with a side of beef.
President Trump's next target for tariffs may be French wine. The president says he's considering a new tax as a retaliatory measure. France has just announced a new tax on American tech companies like Facebook and Google.
Wrong thing to do. They should not have done it. So I may do that. I've always liked American wines better than French wines, even though I don't drink wine. I just like the way they look.
Well, it's such a strange thing. I don't drink wine. I just like the way it looks. Now I'm imagining Trump ordering wine at a restaurant. He's just like, anything to drink, sir? Yes, bring me a bottle with your finest label. Perhaps something with a picture of a castle on it. We're celebrating. And this is obviously a dumb reason to give for imposing tariffs on a country. But if we're being honest, we all judge wine based on how it looks. Yeah, when you go into a wine store, you have no idea what you're buying. No one's really thinking, oh, 2014, that was a good year for German Rieslings. What you're really thinking is, what can I get for under $12 that looks like it's over $20? That's all you're thinking. And Trump wasn't just picking international fights over the weekend. No, he was also picking fights closer to home and also about his home.
Speaking of President Obama, President Trump is blaming him for the inadequate air conditioning at the White House.
The Obama administration worked out a brand new air conditioning system for the West Wing. And it was so good before they did the system. Now that they did the system, it's freezing or hot in here.
Wait, what? He's seriously blaming President Obama for the temperature in the White House? You see, this is what happens when you've run out of things to blame Obama for. It's almost like Trump is just looking around the room for new materials. Like, you know, this office wasn't always oval. It used to have beautiful corners, but Obama stole them. And by the way, there is no way that President Obama is to blame for making the White House too cold. All right? Never in the history of the world has any black person wanted to make their office colder. That's not a thing. When God was making the earth, he gave everyone winter. And then he got to Africa, and Africans were like, no, we'll just take their sun. Thank you. Thank you very much. So Trump started his weekend off beefing with Obama and French wine. But then on Saturday, he took his beefs to the next level.
In more than a dozen tweets over the weekend, the president disparaging Congressman Elijah Cummings, calling his majority black district around Baltimore, Maryland, a disgusting rat and rodent infested mess where no human being would want to live. The president's Twitter offensive comes after Cummings grilled Trump's acting Homeland Security Secretary about conditions along the border. It's the second time in 2 weeks that Trump has come under fire for racial attacks against members of Congress. But now Trump insists Democrats are the ones playing the race card, tweeting Cummings is racist.
And there you have it, folks. Congressman Cummings criticizes Trump's border policies, and in response, Trump tells him to go back to his rat and rodent-infested city. Which is not exactly how you'd expect an American president to talk about an American city. And what makes it even more disturbing is that, as multiple people have pointed out, this language is part of a pattern. Right? President Trump always uses the word infestation when talking about people of color. Almost always uses it. He said illegal immigrants are infesting America. He said Congressman John Lewis's Atlanta district is crime-infested, and that the squad must go back to their crime-infested countries. Like, you don't need to be a genius to see what Trump is implying, because he's not a subtle person. Like, if Trump was a painter, his art wouldn't need to be interpreted. It would just say, "I'm sad," in giant letters. You go, oh, what does this mean? And like, here's the thing. I think people are missing the point. People are like, are you saying Baltimore doesn't have rats? Is that what you're... No, it's not about that. I'm not saying Baltimore doesn't have rats. Of course it has rats. But you know which other cities have rats? All the best cities in the world. All of them. Paris, London, New York, they all have a rat problem. In fact, I'm starting to think that if your city doesn't have rats, it's because you live in a boring-ass city and your food sucks. Yeah. Because rats want to have a good time too. Everyone's seen the photo of Pizza Rat, but people don't realize later that night he changed into Opera Rat. He has many tastes. But once again, America is stuck in another debate Many people say Trump's words are clearly racist, but Trump says it's the black people who are the true racists because they keep bringing up race every time someone says something racist. It's a little suspicious, you have to admit. A little convenient. To be honest, my friends, it is hard to know which side is correct, which means it's a perfect case for Trevor Noah, racism detective. You see, he's the only person who can help us figure out, is Donald Trump racist? Yes, he's racist. Thanks, detective.